Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into how a regional conflict has suddenly exploded into something much bigger, targeting the world's energy lifeline and threatening to kick off a global economic crisis.
Let's start with just one number, but it's a big one, 20%. That's the staggering amount of the entire world's liquefied natural gas supply that was put at risk instantly by this one attack, a single event that could literally choke off energy to entire continents.
And that stark warning you see there? That's about the attack on Qatar's Ras Laffan facility. And we have to be clear, this isn't just any energy hub. It's the single largest LNG processing and export facility on the entire planet.
So, how did we get here? Well, this attack didn't just happen in a vacuum. It was the terrifying final step on what you could call an escalation ladder, a really dangerous chain reaction of attacks targeting the very heart of the Middle East's energy infrastructure.
It all spiraled out of control in just a matter of days. First, Iran struck Israel's largest oil refinery in Haifa. Israel didn't wait around. It retaliated, hitting Iran's critical South Pars gas field. And then came the move that shocked the world. Iran, instead of hitting Israel again, turned its missiles on Qatar.
And at the center of this whole crisis is one of the most significant energy assets on Earth. It's one single, absolutely massive underwater gas field that's shared by these two rivals. Iran calls it side South Pars, Qatar calls it side the North Dome. And now both ends of this critical energy lifeline have been attacked.
Which brings us to the crucial question. Why did Iran do this? I mean, Israel attacked their side of the gas field. So why did Iran's revenge strike hit Qatar and not Israel directly? Let's break down the strategy.
And the answer comes down to a cold, hard calculation. This wasn't just about simple revenge. This was about something much, much bigger.
You really have to think of it like a game of geopolitical chess. Israel is a hard target. It's protected by some of the world's most advanced air defenses. Iran knows a direct attack has a high risk of just plain failing. The Gulf states, on the other hand, are a softer target. An attack there guarantees you can inflict maximum economic pain, not just for the region, but for the whole world.
And this move reveals their endgame. The goal wasn't just retaliation. It was to weaponize the global energy market itself. By creating chaos in the supply chain, the real objective is to cause a massive price shock, one that could potentially push oil towards an unthinkable $200 a barrel.
And a strategy like this works so well because it exposes just how fragile the global energy system really is, especially when it comes to liquefied natural gas, or LNG. The scary part is, the world truly has no safety net for this.
To really get the impact, you have to understand the key difference between the oil and LNG markets. For oil, major countries hold these huge strategic petroleum reserves. They act like a shock absorber. But the LNG market, it's completely different. It operates on a super tight, just-in-time delivery system with no global reserves. So when a major supplier gets hit, the system doesn't bend, it breaks.
And you can see the impact right here. The market reaction was immediate and it was violent. European gas prices shot up over 70%. Asian LNG futures spiked nearly 90%. And oil, of course, surged past $110 a barrel. Now, traders weren't just reacting to the current damage. They were pricing in the fear of a long-term global supply choke-off.
So, what does this global crisis actually look like on the ground? To see the real-world impact, let's take a look at a country that is incredibly vulnerable to this shock: India.
This chart really just shows how exposed India is. It imports all of its LNG, and a massive 45% of that comes directly from Qatar. When you add in other regional suppliers like the UAE and Oman, you realize over 70% of India's gas is tied to this one very volatile region.
And this isn't some abstract economic problem on a spreadsheet. No, this is a direct hit on the supply lines that power a nation. We're talking about threats to electricity grids, disruptions to fertilizer production that's vital for farming, and even potential shortages of household cooking gas. Industries are already facing gas rationing, and reports show 22 cargo ships headed for India are just stuck.
And the real issue is, the buffer to absorb this shock is dangerously thin. With inventories of liquefied petroleum gas, that's LPG, reportedly covering just 2 weeks, the country has very little time before the effects are felt in homes and businesses all across the nation.
And just to complicate this whole crisis, you have the position of the United States. In what was a really stunning statement,
The U.S. president claimed his administration was kept completely in the dark about Israel's initial attack, revealing a potential and very dangerous disconnect between the allies. And this is exactly why Iran's choice to hit Qatar was so strategic. By striking a major U.S. ally, one that hosts a critical American military command center, Iran turned a regional fight into a global energy war. It is a calculated move to apply maximum pressure on Washington to restrain Israel, with the entire world's economy caught right in the crossfire. So these attacks have laid bare the extreme vulnerability of our interconnected world. The global energy system has been weaponized and turned into a literal battleground. And all of this leaves us with a critical and so far unanswered question. How long can it possibly withstand the fire?